Brittany, you hear us?
Yes,
Thanks.
I'm just grabbing my headphones. I'll be right back.
Okay. Terrific. Yeah, you guys just, hang tight as long as you can hear us. All right. We're going to record this session and then we will upload it to YouTube.
All right.
Sorry.
So this is the special meeting of the Sugarmiss County Board of Library Trustees. We all identify ourselves.
Judith Wayne, treasurer.
Chuck Stein. John Walter.
John. We have established a quorum. So for the approval of the agenda, do we have any changes or other aspects?
Yeah. Move to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we have the director's report, the FY25 audit action item.
Are you ready for the auditor?
Yes.
Hello.
Good morning or good afternoon, Renata.
Good afternoon. It looks like we're still waiting for Chris. Let me message him.
He's on. Just 1 second. Bringing him in.
There you go.
There he is.
Hey, Chris.
Hey guys,
There you go.
Hi, Chris.
can you hear us okay?
Yes. Can you hear everything in here?
Yeah, let me just turn up my volume. I think I just need to be a little louder. But no, I can hear you guys.
Turning it back over to the board for their questions.
All right, yeah, thanks for joining us. Turn it over to the members for maybe if we might go around the table.
Chris, did you want to run through anything for us first? Good.
Well, what I can do is open the draft. I know I had presented kind of the presented the presentation previously. I can just make some highlights here. If I can share my screen and figure that out, I think.
You should have sharing ability. Let me know if you don't.
I think I do. Just it's user error if I can't figure it out. Let's see. Can you all see do you all see the
Yes.
draft?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe what I could do is let me run through the draft in order, and if I go through any page or I go through a section where you have a question and you'd like me to stop and ask those questions, that's perfectly fine. Or I could do it, do it at the end. And really this is, for your all's benefit. So we've completed the audit for the June 30, 2025 fiscal year end for the library. You'll see the format of the financial statements are, because it follows GASB, which is government accounting standards. This does meet all the requirements for a GASB set of financial statements, which includes the opinion, and of course I'll go through each one of these, but the financial statement opinions included for the current year. There's a required section called Management's Discussion and Analysis, and that takes not only the most recent fiscal year information, it also includes the previous fiscal year, so 2024 information, and fiscal year 2025 information is included within that section. That's a requirement for that section. Then we've got the basic financial statements that I'll highlight. The basic financial statements include what's termed the fund level financial statements, for example, the general fund. And then there's also what's termed entity-wide financial statements. So that's taking the fund level financial statements and then also adding in fixed assets and long-term liabilities. Then there's also the OPEB. assets. So that's the that's termed fiduciary net position. So there's a balance sheet and a statement of changes for that as well. So if you will, there's 3 sets of balance sheets and income statements, if you will, within these financial statements. Then because of the OPEB information and also the budget, there's required supplementary information. And then behind that, there's also another opinion, which is required by government accounting standards. That's internal controls over financial reporting. So both opinions. So one's at the front. This is the financial statement opinion. And then in the back, there's the internal control over financial reporting opinion. Both of those opinions are standard, what's termed clean opinions. So we'd be planning to issue clean or unmodified opinions on the financial statements. That's saying that the financial statements are reasonably free of material misstatement. And that would be the best opinion we could give under professional standards. We can't give absolute assurance on the financial statements, but we can give reasonable assurance that based on our audit, there are no material errors. Is this an appropriate level of detail? Am I going too slow, too fast? What?
I'm fine.
Going okay? Okay. So that's the opinion. I know it reads lengthy, but it's standard. It's the clean opinion. It makes appropriate reference to all the deliverable or all the schedules that are within the financial statements. And then upon approval by the board, we'd be ready to issue the opinion, and the approval date will be the opinion date. And the last audit evidence we need after approval is that management will sign what's termed a management representation letter. And that's where ultimately management's responsible for the numbers. Management's responsible for the financial statements, recording all the transactions. We're just opining on whether or not those are reasonably stated numbers or not. So once we get that management representation letter and we have approval, we'd be ready to issue the financial statements. So, and then going into the next section that starts on page 3, this is management's discussion and analysis.
Okay.
But was there a question?
Would you go back to page 1, please?
Here?
Yes. I think that's good. Yeah. I noticed in the first paragraph, you described the library as a component unit of St. Mary's County, Maryland. As stated at that point, that is not correct. We are not connected to county government. You actually have a corrected statement later on page 16, where it explains that you follow up with it being required by Gatsby, but this statement here in the first paragraph misleads the reader because it is incorrect as stated.
Well, the county makes a determination of other governments that meet the criteria of a component unit, and because there's the contributions or appropriations given by the county to the library. In addition, there's the buildings or the libraries that are owned by the county, which is an in-kind contribution on the library's books. The county does include the library information within the county financial statements. So that the county has made a conclusion that the library is a component unit. And that's not our decision. It's something that we would evaluate whether or not a component unit qualifies within the county's financial statements, but the county has made a conclusion that the library's information is a component unit, so it's included within the county's financial statements. In addition, they've made the
From a Gatsby standpoint, I'm just saying that we are actually a state agency.
No, we're not.
No?
We're not. No, we
Wait
aren't.
a minute.
We are not a state agency, John.
You can check with the county attorney. If she's got it wrong, fine and dandy, but that's how she's got it. We are not a county agency.
We're a county entity.
We are a component of the county government. It's what has been determined. We are not a state agency. We are not part of the state.
I guess, could we, the sentence on 16. It says the library for financial statement purposes is treated as a component unit of the county. Can we say that on the first paragraph on page 1?
So let me see the reference on page 16. You said where it said where you made that
Under, right, the first sentence under reporting entity.
so something similar to this.
Yeah, I think that would clarify the circumstances. I mean, we're kind of saying two different things. So it's only for the financial statement purposes that we're treated as a component.
Yeah, this is really just an accounting treatment.
Yeah.
This is not anything that has to do with
Can we say that on page 1?
yeah, that's we can elaborate on that.
Clarify that? And that would be consistent.
Yeah, it's a component unit as defined by GASB, which is accounting principles. I was going to say policy, technically it's not but it's accounting principles.
Okay.
And the county government as they're considered the primary government, they have to make an evaluation of other entities, if you will, of whether or not based on transactions that happen between the county and other entities such as the Board of Education, the library, even the Metropolitan Commission, whether or not there's certain triggers defined by GASB that then require that entity to be a component unit.
You'll find that same incorrect short sentence on page 16, followed by the improved sentence that we're looking for on that same page.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else on the opinion? And then going into the management discussion and analysis section on page 4. Now, this is really management's opportunity to describe what's transpired during the year as it relates to the financial statement. So we don't really write this section. We're not opining on the management discussion analysis, but we do have a requirement to make sure that any figures that are within the MD&A that should relate back to the basic financial statements that we're auditing do tie. So we do look to make sure there's not contradictory information in the MD&A as compared to the results that are disclosed in the audit. But this is really management is driving the discussion here. So if there are questions on the MD&A, that's probably directed towards management. I could answer questions about what's required to be included because we do look to make sure that this section's not missing any requirements from a GASB perspective. And other than that, like I said, our only other responsibility is making sure it articulates with the audit. So for example, when there's summary of net position, we ensure that these numbers do tie back not only to the prior year audit information, but the current year results also tie back in. And as I mentioned, the MD&A requires 2 years of information because the financial statements are just on the 2025 period results, there's an additional year required to be included in the MD&A. So it shows you an additional year that's in addition to what you see in the financial statements. So it's a long-winded way to say it's comparative.
At the bottom of page 4, in that very last paragraph, you describe the assets and liability using the accrual basis of accounting, which is similar to the accounting used by most private sector companies. Why would we be compared to that sector? Is there something different about how you're auditing the library versus how private sector is done?
Yeah, so in private sector, they follow well, there's lots of differences, I guess, between the two. In the private sector, they're following FASB. In private sector, all the numbers are on full accrual accounting. And following GASB, there's two different bases of accounting here in this report. There's modified accrual accounting, and this gets into the quirky rules of GASB. So there's what's termed modified accrual accounting, which is how the general fund is reported. So the general fund, when we go to that page, you'll see has no fixed assets and it has no long-term liabilities. The long-term liabilities being predominantly your compensated absences and your OPEB liability. Those are not fund level liabilities because on the fund level, you follow modified accrual accounting, but then on the entity wide, that's the full balance sheet, that's the full P&L, if you will. That is traditionally what's the accrual basis of accounting, which would be closer to the private sector. So there's two different bases in the financial statements. Modified accrual, which would only be government focused, then full accrual, which is closer to private sector. So that sentence is just making recognition that the statement of net position and the statement of activities is on the accrual basis of accounting as opposed to modified accrual.
All right, thank you.
Did you notice any discrepancies between the managed report and the numbers that you expect?
No. And we still have to wrap up like our QC process where we tie everything out and, cross our T's, dot our I's, but at this point now.
Thank you.
Yep. I just didn't know if you were going to say you caught me on something, so I wanted that disclaimer that we still
I
have
didn't.
like internal review.
In fact,
I need other sets of eyes other than my own. So, but we have three other independent people read the report in our firm that have nothing to do with the engagement. That way, because if Renata and I stare at the numbers too much, we're gonna, get cross-eyed with it, and we might not realize something should tie from one page to another, even though I think we're pretty good at catching those things. But then we have independent people also look at it with just fresh set of eyes that aren't on the engagement team. And we'll have three other people read the report. And they all look for different things.
Thank you.
On page 5 at the top, if I may.
Yes.
In that first paragraph, you talk about changes in the county's population, tax base, capital assets. Why don't you just replace that with financial situation?
Okay.
That's the library's writing, not theirs.
Yeah.
Well, I would say if it's your all's decision, and ultimately,
It's kind
if
of
it's,
awkward sentence, and I think doesn't.
I will defer to you all with changes in the MD&A.
I think by follow through, I think we could streamline the financial status of the county and the state. Something like that, and streamline it. Otherwise, you get into the question, what entities are you referring to? It's kind of awkward.
So what do you want us to change it to?
Well, I think you could in front of such as changes in the financial status of the county. And then delete everything off into and the state of Maryland. And then after Maryland, delete the word finances.
Okay.
And that would just encompass everything.
Is there a way to get a marked up version so I don't
Yes,
I don't want to misinterpret any of the edits?
I'll send you one.
Okay.
Does that follow?
I don't
That makes sense.
understand.
How does that read now?
So
I don't
other
understand the force behind this change. What are we trying to accomplish?
It's awkward when I read as these entities, but these things aren't necessarily entities, population, tax base, capital assets. So if we just say financial statement of the county, the state as these entities, then we know we're referring to the county, the state, those entities providing the available funding. And then we're just encompassing everything. There's a lot of things that go into it.
So I understand what you want. I don't see where entity is in this paragraph at all.
It's at the very bottom.
It's the last sentence.
Okay,
So it would read, other factors, however, such as changes in the county's financial status and the state of Maryland.
No, changes in the financial status of the county and the
Okay.
state.
Your point is that like tax base isn't necessarily an entity.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had to read it twice for it.
That one assets figure.
I don't know. This way we're just all inclusive.
And then we're eliminating finances.
And for Maryland.
Right, and
Yeah.
then R, and then just continue on.
Yes, that's correct.
Same page going down to the next segment, the library's funds. In line 3, some funds are required to be established by state law. Could you drop an example or two relevant to us in there?
Well, at a minimum, there's a requirement for there to be a general fund, and there is a general fund. The second part of that, the next sentence says that, however, the library establishes other funds. So in addition, there's also the, let me make sure I get the right name of it. I think it's like the gift fund, the gift and grants fund. So the general fund is required. That at a minimum, the general fund's required, and then there could be additional funds added either at the discretion of management, or it could be by donors. You could get a restricted donation that could require a separate fund. Those are the situations that there could be
Under state,
additional funds.
under state law, you're telling me there's only one. The general
Yeah, at a
fund.
minimum, every government has to have a general fund.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're moving on. So this is, for the library. I think, SMB was consistent, the Board of Library Trustees, but in the MD&A, I'm seeing Library Board of Trustees, just editorial. I want to do a search on that. In a couple places, it ended up the Library Board of Trustees or just the Board of Trustees, like page 7. I think the name is Board of Library Trustees. And just a question, I don't know if this is for rest of the library, how do you say this, the county appropriations, for the buildings, 1.5 million. Does the county give us that number? How do we come up with that value of our rent space?
You're talking about the donated facilities?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that was determined some time ago. I don't recall offhand what.
There's
who
an
decided it at
agreement.
what point. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Renata.
yeah, there's an agreement with the county. I believe it's an amount per square footage. And this number has been the same for as long as I'm part of the audit team, so for a couple of years now. But it comes from an agreement with the county.
Thank you.
we have to provide the auditors with the leases that we have between us and the county for all 3 buildings, and that's where that number comes from.
Does that change over time?
So it has not changed unless we do a new lease with the county, but they just updated the lease for Leonardtown because of the new building in 2020. So the lease for Lexi and Paul has not changed.
Does it take into account that it's Charlotte Hall? We're not
Yes.
The only occupant.
Yes.
I mean, and I'll just kind of go page by page if you guys want to keep going with questions, but you'll see anything on page 7. Again, we make sure these numbers tie back to the basic statements. The discussion is written by management. Of course, when it does make references to figures that tie back to the numbers, we make sure those are accurate. So page set, go ahead.
For page 7, I can see something under paragraph Roman numeral 3, libraries funds. The last sentence in that paragraph, this amount is not the same as what be termed. We're missing a word, be termed an operational unexpected fund.
Of
balance.
what would be.
What would be termed? Is that what you're thinking, Glenda?
Where are we? So I mean, which
Right
sentence?
above the
Last
four
sentence.
general fund.
The last sentence.
The last
amount
sentence.
is not the same as
Amount is
what
not the same as what
would, should, could,
be termed, would. Would.
Okay. Anything on page 8?
At the bottom of 8, and maybe it's more for staff than it is for the auditors. What is a minimum library program?
Very.
Very last, very bottom.
It's right here. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to answer that, but this is the section that he's referring to. Oops, if I can highlight it.
be law, the code about establishing a library.
Yeah, it's
You know,
part
the
of
red books where it says
this-
certain libraries have to do certain things.
This is part of the calculation created by the Maryland State Libraries for funding, so that comes from there. The
Sterling.
expenses per resident comes
So
from
this
there.
is from the law.
No, he means like, what does that mean, minimum library program? But I think it's the things in the law that say, these are the minimum things that you have to do, literally list things that you have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the minimum that you have to do to be termed a library, as part of the law.
All right, how about then, with that explanation? Program parentheses as outlined in Maryland law. Jesus. Those parentheses.
I mean, yeah, you could do a citation.
The sentence right above it says, state funding the laws of Maryland pertaining to libraries. So it already includes that, you could put it there.
Yeah, it's not a citation though. You could put it in place, the code. I don't have what it means, so I can't tell
I
you.
don't have any.
Yeah. If you want a citation there, John, or can we?
Yeah, I'll let it go.
It does delineate what libraries have to do.
Okay, are we ready to move to the? So here, this page shows the governmental funds. So again, this is on modified accrual accounting. This is page 10. So the general,
I think we're on nine.
Back up to 9, please.
uh,
I am in the first big paragraph, third line. The library should plan on, how about we insert receiving a verb there?
okay,
Thank you. And in the next paragraph, the bottom line, plan on receiving modest increases to possible flat funding.
Okay. My opinion is we should strike the sentence, first paragraph, middle. That says the state of Maryland may also be facing structural deficiencies in its economy, especially with the loss of federal jobs, possibly leading to library funding cuts. Funding cut statement is contradicted below, but I don't want to make a political statement here on what's going on in Maryland. There's a lot of things going on in Maryland. And the federal jobs is probably the least of it. So I would vote to strike that whole sentence and let's not get into this issue here. Try to take a position on what's going on with our economy.
I disagree.
Okay, I'm here to
I
say,
think it's a material condition
but
for the future.
where are the structural deficiencies coming from?
It just says the state of Maryland may be facing structural deficiencies in its economy,
Right,
especially with the loss of federal jobs.
that's not true.
It may not be.
The federal jobs are a recent issue and they're not what's caused problems in Maryland.
Is it not, may they not affect the future?
I don't know.
I think they may, and I think that's a
So why
material
are we
condition.
pointing out federal jobs?
Sorry.
Why are we pointing out federal jobs? And there's a lot of issues going on here. We could just not mention federal jobs.
So Michael's not trying to make a political statement here. He is trying to make a financial statement of how he sees the future. Federal jobs run St. Mary's County. That's why federal jobs are important in determining the future.
And the paragraph below says the county commissioners have stated that a changing federal job situation is not expected to have a major impact. So
They have, but that
I would also strike that sentence because that's kind of hearsay. It's kind of somebody, it's not their official position on that.
they said it in the board.
But there are problems in Maryland. There are definitely economic problems in Maryland. But we're citing one of many, and it's probably one of the least issues.
Starting,
So,
But it's the biggest in our county.
no, down here, the county commissioners say it's not.
Well, I know what they say.
starting with the word
But so we're
especially,
putting both in there.
paragraph 1. Take out that phrase, especially all the way through federal jobs, comma.
Okay,
And then we say, possibly leading to library cuts. And the next sentence is cuts are not expected. So what are we saying? We may have cuts, but we may not have cuts. I'm okay with, I think we should just leave as. In the past, libraries have a strong support by the state of Maryland and cuts are not expected even in difficult times. Because I don't know if the law, the way it is, with that formula, can they cut us? Where? I mean, grant money, yes, but we always have grant money as an if. They would have to change the law to cut our allocation, right?
No, they have taken away. They've given it and then they've taken it back. The state library was cut, or the Enoch Pratt was cut.
Yeah.
By a percentage. So, just like any other department can be cut.
Okay.
But we're saying here the cuts are not expected. So I mean, we're literally saying two different things in adjoining sentences.
How
Like
about
we may
this?
have cuts and then we may not, we don't expect to have cuts.
In the second paragraph, what if we ended that paragraph on line 2? Downturn could reduce resources, period. Strike all the rest.
Sick, where?
So we're in the second paragraph. Line getting downturn could reduce resources, period.
I think you
Strike the
should
rest of
leave
the
that
stuff.
last line that says the library should plan on receiving modest increases where possible.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that sentence.
All right, you want to skip over?
But I would take out the reference to federal jobs.
What
I would
about-
take out the whole sentence, but if you left it, it would say the state of Maryland may also be facing structural deficiencies in its economy. And
how about,
possibly lead to library funding cuts, but then we can't say cuts are not expected, so that's two different.
how about we say the state of Maryland may also be facing deficiencies in its economy, possibly leading to library funding cuts. However, libraries do have strong support in state of Maryland legislature and cuts are not expected.
I think we're just saying, I think that's contradictory.
I think it's just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, it is contradictory because we know that
We
it's a
have no idea
possibility,
what's
but
gonna happen.
we also know that we have strong support. So we don't know which way it's gonna go. That's the point.
So you wanna say with Maryland, cuts are possible.
Yep.
But not expected.
Yes.
Like the federal jobs.
I'm fine with that.
The state of Maryland may also be facing structural deficiencies in its economy, possibly leading to library funding cuts.
Delete.
Libraries have strong, I kind of like, I was gonna put in the past, libraries have strong support in the state legislature. I think you're strike the word Maryland, but I don't care. And cuts are not expected. Yeah, it's not great, but I can live with that.
Could also correct the spelling of deficiencies.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we're just taking out, especially the loss of federal jobs
And the county commissioner sentence.
and the county commission sentence, right? And then I like John, the library should plan on receiving no more than modest increases. Let's get some more words.
Would you like me to take out the facing structural deficiencies and just put deficiencies? Do you have a problem with structural?
No, not because it's referencing your economy.
Okay.
Economy's your structure.
Okay.
Okay,
So go up to the sentence that begins near the bottom, not expected even in a difficult economic time. Are we putting a period after expected? Striking the rest of the sentence?
no, I'm okay with picking it. It's not great. Okay, down drop down where it says bold contacting the library's financial management, missing a word there. Contacting the library's financial management office. Officer, personnel, what are we doing here? We don't, I really have a financial management office.
So does the word management apply to like senior leadership?
Heading.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be managers.
Oh. It's a statement. Just the management of the finances of the library.
But you can't contact
Contact the people.
Contact is a
But
person or an office.
Well, I know, but that's in the paragraph is who to contact. This is just a statement saying contacting. This is a statement about.
I thought you had for an organization.
Why don't we make it managers? Contact the library's financial managers.
Because they don't install.
Nobody wants to get that call.
I always do. Take all the calls.
What? Somebody's reading these students. Okay. All right, I think we're good with page 9.
Okay. So page 10 is a lot going on this page, but this has your governmental funds in the first two columns, which is the general fund and the gifts and grant fund. So that activity is recorded and tracked in two separate funds by the library. So this is termed modified accrual accounting. So in the general fund and the gifts and grants fund, there's no fixed asset, there's no long-term assets or long-term liabilities recorded within these funds. To get to the far right column, which is the statement of net position, that the difference between the fund level and the statement of net position is the long-term assets and the long-term liabilities, which is included in this adjustment column here, right before the statement of net position. So that's just including all the fund level activity, plus fixed assets, plus the OPEB liability and accrued leave to get to the statement of net position. One way to look at this, if you look at your general fund in the far left column there, the total fund balance was at $828,000 at the end of the year. And net position was a negative $329,000 for the year. The main driver of that negative net position is the calculation of the net OPEB liability of roughly $2.4 million. That is not, a current liability. That's just the liability that the actuary has calculated of all the other post-employment benefits that have been calculated for retirees that would be funded over a number of years. So I don't know if there's any questions on, I'll call it the balance sheet, if you will, but this is the balance sheet for the fund financial statements and the what I refer to as the entity-wide financial statements here in the far right column. Questions there? And I'm sorry, it's a little hard to hear, so if I do talk over someone, please just let me know.
No questions on 10.
Okay. Page 11 is really just an elaboration of what's included on the page I just showed you with the adjustments to get from fund level to entity wide. So page 11 is the fixed assets and long-term liabilities. On page 12, you'll see the statement of activities, which is the revenues and the expenses and the expenditures for the funds and the statement of activities. I'll just pause if there's questions on anything here.
I've got one question, it might be for Belinda, I don't know, 12, on under the general fund,
Page 12,
page 12, under expenditures, expenses. Let me go down to front of the library. Why is the 6,444 under general fund and the rest of it's under gifts and grants? What's different about that money?
the 6,444 comes from last year's Friends of the Library, so it's part of the general fund now. Versus the stuff that we actually got in this year, which was a total of $100,500. We got that money this year and we spent that money this year. And then we spent 6,000 from last year's FOL.
So it was a rollover from 24 to 25.
Yes.
Right, please.
Good on 13.
Good on 12 and 13.
Okay. So 14, this is just the OPEB assets. So there's 1.5 million restricted for OPEB, and then you'll see the activity within that investment account for the year. And those are shown in the fiduciary fund because those assets are restricted for retiree healthcare. And then following that are the notes to the financial statements. I won't read through each one, but I'll pause. Are there any comments on 16?
Only one minor on reporting entity. Second paragraph, you refer to libraries, board of trustees,
Where's the
page 16,
16?
under reporting entity, second paragraph, instead of board of library trustees.
We'll fix that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, I'll just fix it out of the document.
Yep, just, you know.
Nothing else on 16.
Now, I have a question at the
One more.
bottom of 16, please. Next to last paragraph, present information on all of the non-fiduciary activities of the library. As trustees, aren't all the activities fiduciary?
Well, that's just the accounting. So that's just an accounting language. So fiduciary funds those assets are held in a trust that are restricted for, like for the OPEB, those assets cannot be touched for the operations of the library. So it's just making a distinction that basically, so when we went on the page here, when I started here about the statement of net position, these are the assets available for the library's use, and the library cannot use the OPEB assets for its own use. It's restricted for other post-employment benefits. So it's just acknowledging the fact that the OPEB assets are not included here in this column. And that's just more of the accounting requirement for that, for the treatment of those assets.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else in 16? Yeah, and
Anything on
I want-
17?
Paragraph 3. That starts off gift and grant fund. The last sentence is this fund is also used to account for all federal grants. Don't we get state grants too? I mean, could we just say all grants?
Yes,
Do we get state grants? And we could get grants from anybody, right?
we get state grants. And the money is funded from the federal government, but they are state grants to us. So this,
Are they technically federal money?
it's all, yeah, it's technically
Okay.
federal money, but it is all grants.
Okay. Do we get grants from anywhere else?
Yes.
Yes.
So should we say all grants and
Yes,
just take out the word federal? Okay.
Or we could say federal and other grants. If we could just take out and just say all.
I would just say all. That would cover everything.
Anything else on 17?
Now I have a question under measurement focus.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm lost on 12th grade English. Where does that apostrophe go?
Under which funds?
Yeah,
What's
what's it possessing?
before? Do you know what it says library? Is funds apostrophe yes or S apostrophe? Is it plural funds? Maybe that's why it's S apostrophe.
I'm having a hard time hearing if the question's for me. I'm sorry.
Where are you talking about,
You
Joe?
could take out the,
Page 17, measurement focus. There's a possessive in there, and I'm not sure it's singular or plural.
It's the measurement of the governmental funds.
Yeah,
plural.
it's.
Right, so it's in the correct.
It's in the correct place. It's the possessive of
So
measurement.
it's plural possessive. Correct. Okay,
Says the professors.
She was talking about you.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. You're the professor.
Anything else on 17?
At the bottom, last paragraph, what are non-exchange revenues?
A non-exchange revenue would be, for example, a grant. So an exchange transaction would be like, you go to the store, you buy a good, so you get that good. A non-exchange would be you're not getting something in return of equal value, which would commonly be a grant, would be an example, or an appropriation from the county. Those are considered non-exchange transactions. Anything on page 18?
Bottom of 18. Were we taking fines in the fiscal year?
Yes.
So include fines is still correct terminology for this.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything on 19?
No.
20? Or just tell anyone to speak up on the next page.
on the top of 21,
Yes.
there are equity classifications. Number 3. The last sentence is, this includes the budget reserve account. That's a new term. Are we talking about fund balance, unassigned fund balance? What is our budget reserve account?
I don't know. Maybe there was one at one point in time, but I don't know if there is one at this point anymore. Belinda, do you know if that's in there? I mean, that could just have been in there from a previous year.
Reserve account.
I would assume that. I would assume that would kind of denote the gifts that have come in from previous years. Those are reserved. Renata, do you think that's?
No, that was the committed, right? The questions on the committed fund balance.
Oh, here it
And-
is. So that if we go down to page 12, there's the numbers that make up the different categories. So where we were just at, that's just giving the definition of the categories. There is a section of committed here that says reserved by the Board of Library Trustees. Now, if that's tie directly into that sentence. I don't know. We could always tweak it, but these are the categories of fund balance for reference. So that's on page 31 here.
Page 30. I see the committed. But just.
And Melinda, that's the investment balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops, where were we?
21 is where we're at. Does anybody
Yep,
have
you're right.
22, 23?
23 is another Board of Trustees issue. 23, and you'll catch that.
Do we sell any of our capital assets?
No.
I have a question on 26. I guess that's more.
Page 26, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Benefits provided. Under benefits provided, top. The last sentence, a member of the system. They were talking about people that have enrolled, right? Where? Well, the first sentence is a member of the system is somebody that's has enrolled in the in the benefit system. I guess you could decline all if you wanted to.
State retirement. This is already referring to state retirement, and I wrote part
So-
of this, and it came directly from the state retirement descriptions.
I mean, there's probably a reason. The last sentence, a member of the system is generally eligible for full retirement benefits at age 65. Is that their language, generally eligible, aren't you eligible or not eligible?
But there's different
There's some-
eligibility levels, and you can do early retirement, and you can do regular retirement, and then there's in general, they are eligible, but there's also, they've changed the retirement system twice in the last 50 years, so anybody enrolled in the old
Okay.
system or the previous system, so this is in
There are
general.
exceptions, okay, it's fine, I'm fine. I'm on 27.
Okay.
So under the grant audit, under number 8 on 27. We ever had the state come in and audit any of our grant money? I ask this every year.
They haven't they haven't done a specific audit to us since I started, however, they have the right to, and we also must provide them every year a report for every single audit, so, I mean, every single grant, so that's how they're auditing, so kind of they do.
You're
They don't
reporting
do an
back.
official audit.
You're reporting back, though, so they have not come in and said we're gonna audit. I'm just curious. All right, that's all I got on 27.
Our question, 28, first paragraph. Settled claims resulting from these risks have not exceeded the insurance coverage in the past 3 fiscal years. Have we had any claims at all, or just? Why don't we say that?
This is,
Settled.
Well, we could add that, but this is a required disclosure as well. Or we could say there were no settled claims that resulted in exceeding insurance, something to that effect.
That only works if we had a claim. We had $1 million policy and we paid out 50.
But if we're saying, if we just say we didn't have any claims, then clearly we're under the coverage. It does sound like we have claims.
is that wording required? Is that wording required?
Well, you have to make a disclosure about whether or not there was any claims in excess of insurance coverage over the last 3 years. So,
Can we add a sentence at the end that says no claims have been filed in the past 3 fiscal years?
yes.
Next paragraph down, line 4. Tell me again how the estimated value of the leasehold. That's just a number that comes from the county if we use it.
Yes.
Yes. We have a lease for each building with the county and they have determined how much per square foot they are charging us,
Which they don't.
which they don't.
The
Yeah.
the value.
But that's an accounting. It's a value that we're receiving. We're just not paying cash for it.
The county needs this for their own books too, because they're saying they own these buildings,
Yeah.
and this is how much these buildings are worth. But they're not using them, we are, so they have to show that they have. That we see that the value of the buildings and they see the value of the buildings on their side.
And they're lying about the payback.
No, no,
Rent we
no.
pay.
It's not on the side,
No,
it's an
we're
in-kind.
receiving something on value from the county and they're accounting for it. We're accounting.
That's right,
As long as it comes out to zero,
yep, it's an in-kind.
it's income. That's
And
good.
it's not like a market value for the space.
Well, I mean, it's probably
I
close.
mean,
That's estimated value.
It's the estimated value that they have not changed over time.
Okay, on page 28, the last paragraph. I think it's the first time we use the word OPEB. If so, I think we need to spell it out.
Okay.
Oh, okay, and then the last sentence on that page. The trust assets, the OPEB trust, are invested with the Mako OPEB trust. Where does that come from? Our money's not with Mako that I know of. Our money is with Vanguard.
25.
Before 20, it was an asset strategy, yeah,
24.
it was with Charles Schwab and then Vanguard. I don't
Was it, was
know that we ever had it with
It-
Mako,
it-
right?
Renata, is it in Mako or no?
The Vanguard is the actual investments of the library. I believe the OPEB trust is with Mako, but I can double check.
Okay.
So to be clear, there, Vanguard is one of our accounts, but our OPEB was in
Right.
Schwab in fiscal year 25. And has moved to Vanguard for fiscal year 26. So the Schwab account is the one that they're talking about for this fiscal year.
Okay.
We've never had it with Mako that I've ever seen. It's our own standalone account.
So I don't know where this line comes from. It's probably been in the account, in the audit for a very long time, and I don't know.
It is Schwab.
You just dropped that sentence.
Mako is
Well,
where.
well, you can say there are, the trust assets are currently invested with Vanguard.
But
Schwab.
this is fiscal year last year, so
Well, then we switched in May. So there
Well-
was a crossover. They were with Schwab and then Vanguard in 25. There
no,
was a change,
you
right?
did not change it. You did not actually transfer it to Vanguard until
May.
July. It's how long it took us to transfer.
I thought it was May.
You took it out of the,
Yeah, well,
Accounts.
way back in February, yeah.
but you did not move it to Vanguard until this fiscal year.
Yeah, the first sentence of that paragraph almost sounds like the retiree benefit trust. It's like an administrative entity rather than a steward of the funds itself.
Right.
So has Mako ever been in a position where they were actually issuing the?
I think all of the OPEB was established, 'cause
By
like
Mako.
the counties have it, the libraries have it. Everybody, encompassed in this Maryland Association of Counties has this OPEB trust. Is where that came from.
Okay, I mean,
It's
I think we
not
can
the
agree that-
actual financial
Right, it's not,
institution.
I think we can agree that that sentence should be dropped.
so,
But do we need to say where the money is, Chris?
No,
Okay,
we
so,
can just take that sentence out completely.
and this sentence probably comes from the fact that originally the county was going to have ours and Metcom's OPEB as part of this Maryland Association of Counties and their grouping. But a lawyer told them that we should not do that, and that was when we started maintaining it ourselves.
okay, so we're on 29. So I thought we used Vanguard in May, but I'm gonna check that date, Melinda. So first sentence we said it's with asset strategy.
We need.
But we changed some months ago. We need to find the date of that. Does it? How should we say this? If it was one firm, it's definitely not asset strategy. Well, no. It was, and then we left them and went to our own Vanguard Wellington Fund.
Let's say you could either put both or just put what it was as of, because these disclosures are primarily as of June 30th.
Or, yep,
So you could just go with the firm that was doing that as of June 30.
so you can get online, or I can get online and can look that up and see that.
Can you show me the statements that I gave you? Can I see those? Yes. Oh, those are, never mind, those are gonna be the original, those aren't gonna be the right ones. Those aren't gonna be the right ones.
Right, but I don't think it'll show when we started.
Those aren't gonna be the right ones.
All right, we'll have to look that up online,
Okay.
and then I guess we should
So-
let you know, right?
I can look it up, but I had to give all of that information to Renata as to where the money was. And I gave her what was current, which was Schwab for fiscal year 25, because we did not transfer the funds till the fiscal year rolled over because we had that problem. It took that long
It did
for us
take,
to roll
it
it
did
over.
take, it did take a while. I just thought it was maybe.
Because I would have had to provide Renata, and they would have had that information of the new account for fiscal year 25, but I didn't have to do that because the money wasn't in Vanguard account yet.
I'm on page 29. Just above the boldface investments. The library contributed 138.22 to the trust. I've always objected to that characterization because it did not go into the investable assets. It was paid out of operating.
It's considered part of the trust, even though it's paid out of operating, because we paid it towards retirement benefits, and it's part of the GASB.
Yep.
And
Yeah, you basically get credit
that
for
will-
paying that as a part of the plan activity. So like the actuary will include that as a contribution, if you will, because it went to pay benefits. So it's really an in and an out within the activity here, but it does count towards being a contribution.
And that is determined by Bolton, the actuary, and their reports that we got.
I'm not questioning the numbers, I'm questioning the use of
I know,
contributed
but
to the trust.
Bolton's using that.
So
Not them.
even though we know we're estimating we need for OPEB every year, put it in our budget line. But it never goes into Schwab/Vanguard, it's considered a contribution. It is a funky accounting term, but that's what they're doing. It's like the rent money. It's the same thing. It does sound like we're doing something we're not, but. Editorial, that paragraph. The library's board of trustees or board of library trustees. The middle, now you're spelling out OPEB. Where before you didn't, so you could just make it OPEB. Right, for the rest of that.
So it is 5:15. We have about 15 more minutes before we need to kind of wrap up the room. We could only book it for this amount of time. To already book it.
I don't have too many more, really. I don't have too many more. Speak to these. Top of 30, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
The first sentence, we say July 1st, 2022, we mean 2024.
We'll have to check on that. The evaluation is not required every year, so it is periodically, but we can double check that year.
Okay,
In this thing every year. It has to be 24.
don't have anything else. So. That's all I have.
I'm on an unnumbered page. Must be 36, I had 36. those items down below the numbers, healthcare cost trend. Where does that number come from?
I got a page
What?
30.
Yeah, I do too now.
Healthcare cost trend rate.
Yeah,
Are you looking for a source for the number?
yeah, because I don't believe that's the right number.
Like the number here?
You mean is that an inflation?
This would
number?
be in the Bolton actuary report.
All right. Well, that's no blood on y'all's hands.
Is that the newest Bolt report?
Yes.
Where is that?
Well, that Bolton, they,
It's usually a separate, couple pages.
the whole Bolton report we gave you months ago, they finished theirs before that. We put it in your packets when we got that one. And then it goes to them when, during the audit.
Okay.
Anything else?
I just have a big picture question, Chris. So if we wanted to expand the scope next year to do internal controls, is that something you guys can handle?
Yes. Yeah, if you just let us know in advance, we'll build that into the process.
Okay. Yeah, you and I talked earlier a while ago about getting at the engagement letter, some type of schedule. And
Yeah, I think what we could do with either
That's
you and
fine.
I or the entire board with management, if you want to get together and talk about how we plan the procedures, any changes you have to the engagement letter, anything you'd want us to do differently with scope, timing, etc. We can get together on that before we kick off anything formally.
next spring.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had an internal control review. I think it would probably be a healthy exercise to go through.
Yep.
All right. So who produces the report with edits?
We do.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
You're gonna produce the report with all the edits we just did?
Yes, we will. Belinda, if you could help just consolidate those comments and get those over to us, we will turn around another draft. And once you all are okay with it, we will have management sign the representation letter and then issue the report.
I will have those to you tomorrow morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we need to approve the report with that at this meeting?
Yeah, we can let that go though, right? I think.
Thank you, Chris and Renata. We appreciate
Okay.
it.
See you guys. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Thank you. Good job, be conscious of time.
If you don't, then you're gonna have to meet again to approve this before we can turn it in November.
You know. When next week looks like, I don't know, what do you all think? Do you wanna wait and see if we copy or? It's.
You're gonna send these changes to them.
I would suggest that we vote to approve it with the changes that we have talked about.
Want to be,
And that we don't have to face it again.
yeah, but we want to be conscious of.
And if when we get it, we find that there is a problem, then we can open it up again and discuss that. But it seems to me that these are all wording changes that actually I would have wished were made before we had this meeting.
Yeah.
In any case, let's say that. So I would like to suggest the move. I move that we accept this audit with the changes that we have made.
Second. Right, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Right.
Great.
Let's give you more comfort level in terms of the state deadline.
Yes. Cause we can have, they'll turn it around back to me probably before the end of this week, probably within a day. Cause they're all wording changes, there's no math involved,
Yeah.
so
No, we lots of time.
you guys didn't even ask questions about the actual numbers, so.
They've got lots of time. So.
Driving up. Got two.
Yeah, no,
All right. The only,
Do we need another meeting? Do we
You
need
can
to
ask
schedule another meeting?
about the
today?
questions, John, and I can explain every number if you have a problem with the number.
but I think that quite, this is what we include this under old businesses to
Okay, sorry.
whether whether we simply proceed with interviewing all the candidates or if you wanted to have a closed session or wanted to interview some and not others. If you wanted to 15, is that right?
It's a lot of use. And we usually do it handle 3 at night.
15 interviews. You guys said 3 a night.
That was done.
That's 5 nights of interviews.
Yes, it
Yeah, but
is.
that's
But how do we-
something.
I don't know anybody off.
We had 13. One withdrew during the process. And one did not have a complete application. So there was some erosion. On what we thought the original number was.
I think it was like 4 nights.
Yeah, I think there was at least one night where it was simply 2.
Yeah, that's exactly
So we're
right.
still in open session.
Yes, you're still in open session. May I say that you would just, if you're going to eliminate people, you're gonna do it like you would any hiring process. You're gonna review all of those resumes and eliminate the ones that you feel might not be as strong of a candidate and choose the ones you're going to interview.
Yeah, and that would be a discussion for a closed session.
Yeah.
What I just wanted to determine here is whether such a meeting is necessary or if you want to proceed.
I would like to narrow it down.
So you
But-
need
Normally, never.
Take another- maybe take another session.
Whenever I get 15 resumes and I narrow it down to maybe 5.
Yeah.
Now we gotta come up with 3 names, so
Yeah,
maybe.
and if I understand it right, you want to do a closed session, we need a week in advance for notification.
And we need
So-
to know when everybody can do it.
Yes,
I'm in the evenings, I'm open. So
yeah, I'm open.
We need a week
I'm
before
going
we
for it.
could do this, John.
you did,
My understanding is that is the
So
requirement.
we could do it after Tuesday of next week.
Yes, correct.
like my evenings next week are open. And then
Mine are too.
then it pushes all the interviews to the week after that. When's our November meeting? The 7th,
I'm open at 4 o'clock.
14.
Any day.
14th? I mean, that gives us 2 more weeks. I guess if we could pick something one evening next week.
Yeah.
Where we get at least 5 of us in the room. People could email in if they have a strong feeling and they can't make it, they could email in.
Yeah.
And then we pick out.
Would it be easier to do it via Zoom? We need, you would need.
I mean, I don't know, it's easier. I think it's, I
That's
think in this case, that'd be better to sit around and talk about it, but I don't.
You have to have an open meeting and then close the meeting,
That's right.
so.
Yeah.
Which we can do on Zoom, but.
Well-
I don't know. I can do either one.
It's more complicated.
We could just do like we did today. We can just record and then post.
Okay,
Just the very beginning.
Yeah.
We open and close.
So
I know this is
do
not
that
a team
one
to
next
do it,
week.
but
yeah, I was thinking, so we get a little. Like the afternoon or evening of the 29th.
can we do both? Can we have this room? And then zoom in for people that can't, board members that can't make it?
It's assuming.
The
that room's
staff
open.
conference room be
That's
easier
Leonardtown.
because of, this room is in high demand, so.
What-
The,
Sorry, what day? What day first?
29th, Wednesday.
29th.
Okay, so let me check first.
By staff room, do you mean the staff room here or staff room? in Leonard?
the
Leonard-
staff room in Leonardtown is only used by staff, so we can bump people more easily.
And it'll be in the evening, so.
Yeah.
And that's where we met before.
Yeah.
This room is booked on that day.
Yeah,
Okay, so we could do Leonardtown staff room.
and what's everybody's feeling as to the appropriate time?
Well, I would say not before 5, I would say 5 or 6, because then people have to work and Sharon's gotta get up there off the base, Kate's probably coming up off the base, it takes a while.
Is 5 o'clock?
First room.
I mean, check with them, see if we can do that. October 20th.
You work.
I certainly agree, yeah. I mean,
So this will be to winnow down the list.
So what we'll do before the meeting is review all those resumes.
Yes,
And then we can come with.
With your preferences. Yeah.
Which do we want to have, and we want to have them all, you know, we can get some of that in.
That bunch is prepared for handing out.
What?
It's at the library now for you, at least Michael said it was. I haven't picked it up.
Then that's.
Oh, it's John. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Michael said there were hard copies for us.
Yeah, I already have mine.
That other time,
Yeah.
you have copies.
Yeah, but especially, I think you and I live a lot closer to this branch, so that's where usually I get
But
mine.
I think they're probably here now.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
one the other day.
Yeah, they're waiting for you. You haven't picked it up yet.
Okay, so I'll go
Okay.
pick mine up and move.
All right,
So
so.
what did we say, 5 o'clock on Wednesday?
Okay, so I will reach out to October 29th, 5 p.m. Leonardtown staff. And email.
We have a whiteboard in
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been
No.
removed.
Did they move it?
We added cabinets, so.
Oh.
but there's,
We
speak
chart
easel
paper.
sheets with paper. We have those and we have I think we have a whiteboard easel, but we definitely have the paper. Old school.
We'll give you something, but
That's really
we needed the storage space, so.
What do you think it would be 5 to 7?
I've just booked the
Yeah,
room
yeah.
for you 5 to 7. to do that.
Okay, yeah, well, that's that will.
Hopefully it really doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
but-
And then I can send out the email to you.
All right,
Yeah.
as long as we share it, we can't, like,
Yeah.
can make it, maybe if they can't, we still have 5.
And the new trustee business.
Um,
There's not, you know, motion to adjourn.
so-
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, who made the motion? John and Jordan.
You guys.